Let's go into our news, shall we?
We always have news.
We always have news, and our news focuses on the growth and development of your favorite city. It's brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. Physically, their office is located at 114th and Davenport, but they can help you get ready when you are preparing to purchase a home. And we always recommend you get a pre-approval letter from Eagle Mortgage so that you know what you're qualified for, and you can show that to a seller or a seller's agent so that they know you are legit. And like I said, online, eaglemortgagecompany.com. Well, Trenton, the first item on the news is Farnham Street. And this has been a source of discussion.
You're not even talking about it in a roundabout way, or are you?
Clever. That has been a source of discussion here in the Midtown area for a number of years. Back in the late 50s, it was converted into its current iteration, which is a two-way street that switches directions 2 times a day. So in the morning, when people, at least in the old days, were commuting downtown, it was 2 lanes east. And then in the afternoon, late afternoon, early evening, when people were commuting from downtown out west, it was 2 lanes west. Well, this created some confusion. Commuting patterns have changed. Offices are all over. A lot of people are doing work from home. So there's been a big movement in the last few years to say 2-way all day, every day.
And right now, I just see it as another reason, and there's infinite reasons, but to not drive drunk.
Well, but it's been that way since the late 50s, really. So it's been a problem. And
to not drive drunk, or the...
And in all seriousness, a lot of accidents on that stretch. And so part of the going to 2-way was not just to get rid of the confusion, but also to make it a safer roadway. But the consultant that the city hired, and you kind of hinted about this a few moments ago, says that we should have roundabouts installed at 50th and 52nd Street. So in the future, and this construction is going to start kind of, sort of, at least the design part of it, yet this year with heavy-duty construction about a year after that. So you'll have a couple roundabouts when you're going on Farnham Street between UNO and
Was that
Midtown.
European Vacation where they're stuck on the roundabout?
It was, yeah. Although we do have a lot of roundabouts.
When it comes to streets, there's one thing you'll never see.
What?
3-way.
3-way? Well, there are 3-way intersections.
Yeah, it's different.
Some people call them a T intersection. So we'll keep our eye on that. That will be an interesting change for the Midtown area. So we have an interesting project in South Omaha. Canopy South is doing some cool developments in South O. And the plan that they have right now is to renovate a former mortuary at 4425 South 24th Street into a work development center. And this is a way, what they're going to do though, so not only will be a work development center, but they're creating a system to help people in the immediate area. I believe it is 68107 zip code, which surrounds this ex-mortuary at 4425 South 24th Street. People in that zip code can actually buy into it and actually have equity in the building, and you can buy into it for as little as $10 a month. And so it's a way for, or you could buy more. But this building altogether is 2 stories, 6,100 square feet. And it's kind of a clever way to bring some wealth building and equity building into a typically lower income part of town.
I'd hate to be that title company that has to figure out that ownership structure.
My guess is that there's probably some sort of unique system created for it. There are philanthropic funds that are going to pay for the $1.6 million renovation cost. And so kudos for finding creative ways to do developments in a part of town and to create opportunities for people that might not otherwise have those opportunities. So you always have to be careful when you say this company name on the radio, but here goes. Smart Asset has ranked Omaha number 4 on its list of best cities for young professionals in 2022. So Smart Asset does these lists all the time. And in this one, they took 144 of the nation's largest cities across 9 metrics. And the focus was on professionals 25 to 34. So, Trenton, would you care to guess which city was number 1 for young professionals on that top 10 list?
Well, Omaha has a lot of smart assets here. I would say Austin.
No, it was Minneapolis. but Omaha was 4th. So here's the top 10. Minneapolis, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Seattle, Omaha, St. Paul, Minnesota, Huntsville, Alabama, Madison, Wisconsin, Cincinnati, Kansas City, Missouri, and Lincoln came in 10th. So 2 Nebraska cities
We'll take it.
in the top 10. So young professionals, come here, stay here. There's all the proof that you need. This is the place that you want to live. Hey, cool project coming to Old Town Bellevue, Trenton. Have you been to Old Town Bellevue at all recently? I hardly ever get
There
down
used to be
there.
a great bakery of a lady we knew. Her mom had a bakery down there. Do you remember that?
I do remember that's going back a ways.
And I also remember
The meadery?
Irwin's the meadery, and we had him on the show. It was bee wine, or it was honey wine.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Irwin died, what was the guy's name at Irwin's Jewelry?
Oh, that I don't
had
know.
those
Yeah.
customized Peggy Carr Omaha Skyline plates.
Oh, he was the
Remember
guy
I was
that had
buying
those?
the heck out of those and giving them as gifts.
But when the meadery was there, you're right. We had them on the show, and that's the only time that I was maybe a little bit compromised at the end of the show. I drank so much of that meadery that by the end of the show, I was feeling I was not quite my sharp self.
We've had people bring product samples.
I don't think I've...
The one thing about having about 950 shows over the last almost 19 years, Jeff, is I'll say to somebody, hey, you should come on our show. He's like, I was on there in 2006. And I'm like,
Sure, we remember that.
yeah, we remember that.
So going back to Old Town Bellevue, local city officials and Mercury Builders broke ground this week. It's called the Frontier District. It's going to be a project that's intended to transform that Old Town Bellevue area into a more thriving, energetic, better-looking district, if you will. So it's going to be a phased revitalization, and the first project is what's going to be known as the Bridge Flats in the Frontier District. This is a 4-story building. It'll have 43 residential apartment units, 18,000 square feet of first-floor commercial space. It'll be on the north side of Mission Avenue between Washington and Jefferson Streets, where the former City Hall used to be before it moved to a different part of Bellevue.
So it's kind of like Plattsmouth, where you really, you've got to have something unique. If you want the masses, and I know that people have tried to, I call it cornering the market or whatever, because you've got the greater Omaha area. If you want to, just like the Meadery or Irwin's or something, you got to have something classic. Stella's is a good example of people going to Bellevue and voted the burger bracket for Sarah Baker Hansen. Stella's won, and people want to go and check it out or something like that. So I think it's great, and it's just a difference between a community center, a neighborhood center, and like a regional draw. And trying to get people down there, but it's a cool place, and they're so close to the river down there too.
Well, and I think that's one of the things. I think one of the things you're implying is that Old Town Bellevue has lacked big anchors, and I would agree that because if you look at
like a lot of people that listen to our show think anchors are a department store
or big time draws. How about
Right,
that?
yeah.
So like we're here in Dundee, and there's a collection of great restaurants here in Dundee. Like the Dundee Dell was world famous supposedly, and then you go to the old market. It's probably the most visited part of Omaha in total. And I think what people are trying to do in Bellevue is to get Old Town to be a little bit more like that. Like you look at the Blackstone district, it kind of came out of nowhere. It went
for the
from
last 10 years.
Yeah, vacant and derelict to one of the most popular parts of the city. And people have proven to love these types of districts. People like those interactive, mixed-use, entertainment-heavy places.
So the question is, what does it take to get people to travel? Like, what doesn't the Blackstone district, the old market, and all these kind of have it? And it's a really big challenge to make it a not so much a boardwalk, but to go to dinner and then go listen to live music. Do you turn it into an entertainment center, restaurants and bars and things like that? Or do you turn it into a family environment to get people to go down there? And it's got a lot of competition. And quite frankly, although it could be really cool, I'm sure they'll do some neat things for it, it'll be really hard to make it a draw when somebody's saying, okay, well, we can go down to this free park downtown now and go to the old market and go to a restaurant, or we can go down to Bellevue and spend the day there. And I wish I had the answers for them, but I'm sure they're they're going to be creative.
I know one of the things they'll have to do, though, is make sure it's its own district. I think if you ever try to recreate anything else, then you probably fail. And I think they're going to find a way to honor what's unique about the original part of Bellevue. The first city in Nebraska, by the way, the oldest city in Nebraska.
So they got that going for them.
Which is nice.
But yeah, exactly. But I think they'll do something for their citizens, too. The frosting is going to be getting people from West Omaha to go there. And just like the taco ride on the Wabash Trace or something like that, which I've heard of, I haven't been on.
I would go for the tacos.
That gets people from West Omaha to go through there and go down the trail.
And that's your news of the week, brought to you by Eagle Mortgage. You can find out more about them at eaglemortgagecompany.com.
If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.